welcome back to the Red Bill Performance channel. We will pull this line off and get it out of the way. See, you just set it back just like so. Clears your 10 mils. We can pop those off. Sweet. Now, there we go. Come on out there. Come on out. And drop all the bolts in the floor. There's that big dumb leaky thing. It comes with new turbo bolts, which I'm very happy about, because the bolts that were holding on the turbo were mismatched bolts, and I'm not exactly sure why. Because no one else, well, not that we know of, no one else other than us has been in this truck. So the fact that it had mismatch turbo bolts is kind of a mystery. Anywho, I need to get that cleaned up. That one now. And that is a nice thing about these turbo pedestals, because I'm like 99.9% sure that the top and bottom seals are identical. So if I can get this back out of the pedestal, get out of there. Come on, get. Just, oh, Lord. So it's hard to get the seals wrong because they don't care where they go. And that's nifty. And look at that. Does the other one have a print? Yeah, okay. The other one does. So, I mean, they both have a print. That might be for something factory, too. But if you needed to run an oil pressure sensor off that, yeah, because this, yeah, that should be drilled into the, oh. That's from where they have to drill the passage. But that's the high pressure side. But yeah, that's where they have to drill the passage out. Okay. But you could, or you could pop something in there that needs like the actual high pressure, not high pressure, but if you have something that needs pressurized oil feed, or you want to put a sensor, that is a place you could put one, is on the back of that pedestal, which wouldn't get too awfully hot, but would see some heat. Make sure you do clean all of your mounting surfaces very well, because if there's any dirt or grime or grit in between the foot, well, in between whatever you're mounting, if you're mounting anything down and there's grease or grime or dirt in between it, over time as it vibrates and settles, it will actually cause the whatever you have sitting there to come loose. So, yeah, always make sure that your mounting surfaces are clean. Because a lot of times, I've even seen it a lot on, you know, construction equipment and just everyday general use stuff. I've seen it where paint, if you don't clean the paint off of a surface, like, you know, like a part will come with paint on it. If you don't clean that off, that is enough to keep it from properly sealing. And I think I actually see a problem here. We might have to grind something down there. Might either have to grind on this foot or grind on the block there. I do think I see a problem there. Let's see what it looks like with this bolt in. See that one then? Yep, that's not gonna sit down. Okie dokie. Well, see, it's a good thing we looked at that. At least it's a good thing I caught it anyway. All right. As usual, if you're doing anything aftermarket, nothing is going to fit. Nothing is going to work. All right. Let's get this out of here so I can explain what I'm talking about. This edge here, see how this has kind of a hard edge here and then it starts coming up the block here? Like they didn't fully machine out that radii there. Well, this is a concentric circle. This is hitting that and not letting it sit all the way down. That's not good. It's going to have this kind of cocked. It's going to have this in a little bit of a bind. And like I said, this isn't going to be sitting all the way down, so you're not going to get that good contact and be able to, it could cause a vibration problem. And see, if you look at the factory one here, it even shows how this needs to be. Let's see. See that? See how that's flat and then boom, tapered like that, right at the hole? That is exactly how this one needs to be, and it's not. Well, this one. So let's go over to the grinder and just knock this edge off right here real quick, and that will solve our problem. And luckily we ain't gonna have no cleanup on that, because the way that stone grinder took the material off of this aluminum, it actually just kind of smudged it off. It didn't actually make a dust powder of any kind, which is kind of cool. Alrighty. Make sure our O-rings are down in there. Yep, and that took care of our clearance problem. Just grinding off the edge of that foot there just a little bit. Like I said, it never fails. You get into putting aftermarket stuff on a vehicle, if you don't constantly run into fitment issues and stuff that you have to modify, well, you're just buying better stuff than we are, I guess. Because I got to modify everything. There's nothing. I can put factory parts on and I've got to modify them. Like, don't even ask me, because I can't explain it myself. I can seriously go buy a factory part for a factory vehicle. Like, I can go to the dealer and get it, and half the time I got to modify it when I'm putting it on. Can't even wrap my small brain around it myself. But it's my life, and I've learned to live with it. Hook our fuel line back up. And the main reason I'm leaving these lines on, even though it's not finished and I might have to pull them off once I get the block to actually get fittings to line up and stuff, is because it's either this or put plastic caps on them to keep dirt out. And honestly, I just assume have the lines on there. That helps keep debris out of the lines and out of the fittings and out of the holes. It kind of helps keep things neat and tidy and clean. And that's what I like. Who wants to put in injectors? I do. Let's put in injectors. That'll be fun. So let's pull out all these rags, and then we can rotate the engine over, make sure all our holes are empty. You never know, I might take another oil bath. Wouldn't that just be, fun? Yay! No, it wouldn't. Not at all. Do a little visual inspection. I'm gonna start with this one. One that's actually marked as reman. Nice. Don't lose my copper. Don't get it dirty. Don't even think about it. Do an inspection on all my new gaskets, all my new, O-rings. I want to make sure that none of them are damaged in any way that's going to bite me. All right, and she is already pre-oiled lubricated. Oh, I need to put all these 1 bolts back in. All right, lay you on the bag. Slimy. All right, yeah, gotta put all these bolts back in that I took out for head stud installation. All right, so let's get all these put back in and properly torqued down, and then we'll start bobbing in injectors. Installed. Now, let's try this injector one more time. And yes, it should literally be that simple as just to install these now. All right, now let's see. It's not all the way down, but I do have this injector installing tool that I want to try. There's actually something else I want to peek on real quick. I want to pull this back out. See, I don't like how loose these are. Really don't like that. Ooh, I can see the holes in the injector tip. Let's hope that copper's staying on there as loose as it is. All right, let's see. How does this OTC pusher popper 3000 work here? Does that even fit in that hole? I don't know how this thing works. Well, one thing, the oil that they have these injectors soaked in is some pretty slippery stuff. Is it going down? Oh, it is. Oh. Now, at any point, are you supposed to like back up and, oh, see? Oh, slid down further. Is it still going down? No, I think that's all of it. Yeah, cause see, I've never used this tool before, so I've never done injectors in a 7.3 before. This will be a first for me. Mainly always been a Cummins guy, because they're just easy. But, you know, when new things show up, you know, you got to work on them. Now it's going to be that same process all the way through, and then once I get them all in, come back and we'll put in these retention bolts and all of them. We'll get them all torqued down. We'll go over what the torque rating is and keep moving forward. All right, we're down to the torque step. This bolt here, you know, 'cause this bolt here is fixed. It's in there tight. This bolt here, on all of them, gets torqued down to 10 foot-pounds or 120 inch-pounds. And then once you put your oil diverter on here, that one torques down to 9 foot-pounds or 108 inch-pounds. So I'm gonna get this one done, make my way around, and get all the oil squirters on, or oil redirectors. And then I gotta write down all these serial numbers for the warranty information. And then we can get the valve covers on. No, I am lying to you. I just keep skipping this step. Once we get all this torqued down, we're gonna pull out the glow plugs, spin the motor over as fast as we can by hand to blow out any excess oil that may be in the holes or anything that may cause a problem. Then we'll put the new glow plugs in, and then the valve covers can go on. All right, let's get these all torqued down. Alrighty, they're all torqued to a value I can get behind. What was it going? Oh yeah, oil diverters. Get all of the oil diverters on. 9 foot-pounds or 108 inch-pounds. Man, I dislike all these little bolts with all their small, spongy torque specs. Ugh, just hate it. All right, everything's all torqued up and beautiful, and I'm searching for pliers. All right. Let's pull the glow plugs before I forget. Good thing we have a whole pile of factory ones here. And it's weird how these come in pairs. You know, that's not what I would have expected, but as you buy from Multicraft, they come in pairs. So I guess they mean for you to replace these in pairs. Anywho, not 8mm, 10mm. I'm going with 1/4 inch because it's the smallest and will fit down in there as the bestest. All right, we're in there, we're on it. Oh, come right out. That's what I like to see. Like, I like that about these Ford engines. I like it and I dislike it. Like, I like how the glow plug is under the valve cover so it stays clean and, you know, rust free and stuff of that nature. But I dislike it because it's under the valve cover, which, you know, makes it a little more awkward for maintenance. And if the seal goes out on it, you get, you know, if it develops a leak of sorts around it, I don't look bad. Anyway, if it develops a leak of sorts around it, then, you know, you get oil into the combustion chamber, but I don't really think that's that really big of a problem because there's not a huge tolerance around these, you know, to, you know, obviously leak into the chamber. But it's just the fact you gotta take all this apart to get them out. And I like how the Duramax's is on the outside, but then like you get an older truck and a truck that has corrosion and stuff, it, you know, then you get that part, you know, that side of it. And what am I doing? Why aren't y'all keeping track of me? Not supposed to be doing that right now. Just taking them out. I still got to turn the motor over and make sure there's no oil in the cylinders. And in the instructions when you're doing injectors, you know, once you do them, it's even says in the instructions, even if you're not replacing them, it says pull out the glow plugs, put the valve covers on. You know, if you're doing this in truck and you're doing the injectors, pull out the glow plugs so you have the holes, put the valve covers back on, and then turn the engine over. And then as the engine's turned over, it blows all the oil and stuff out of the holes for you. And then you pull the valve covers off, put the glow plugs back in. You know, the valve covers catch it from going everywhere and taking a bath like I did. And then you can put the glow plugs back in and do your finished assembly. So, yeah, if you're in frame and you don't have the means of a shucker like I had and stuff like that, you know, that's how you can do it without creating an absolute mess. But all right, I'm gonna get the rest of these out and then we'll rotate it over and see if we get any additional oil out of these holes. And I'm gonna do it without the valve covers on so we get the opportunity to make a mess again, because I just love making messes. Could y'all imagine putting this thing completely back together and forgetting to put the glow plugs back in it? First time you hit that key and just, whoo, uh-oh, where'd the compression go? Oh, idiot. All right, let's crank this thing over as fast as we can and see what happens. Oh no, my ratchet is doing ratchety stuff. You know, the starter is right there. I could bolt it on here and just take some jumper cables and a battery and send this thing to the moon. But I'm not. I think that's good enough. I think anything that was going to come out of there has come out of there. Now, let's get the glow plugs in it and put the valve covers on it. Finally! I've been waiting for this moment my entire life. All right, numbers have been taken down. Give a wipe. Let's put the valve covers on this thing. All injectors are plugged in. All glow plug wires are pushed on. Valve covers. And hey, little high temperature wheel bearing grease goes a long ways. I mean, outside of getting the harness back on here and the solenoids, other than getting those back on here. Now the dippy stick, I can put the dipstick on, I reckon. Probably leave it out of the way for a few more days, but dipstick, solenoids, wiring harness, and you know, this block here, I mean, we're done. We are caught up. And now we're just waiting on this fuel block here to delete that bowl. I'm gonna clean up and we're gonna hold tight till that comes in. I mean, we're done, we're caught up. I guess I can put this pulley on. Put the party pulley back on here. Yeah, before I forget about it. See, I lied. We wasn't exactly caught up yet. But, you know, we're close. Ah! I remembered something we could be doing. Aha! We have ourselves a genuine Ford block heater. We can put it on. It does come with some of this red thread sealing on it, but I think we're gonna step it up just a little bit more because I hate leaks. And I mean, I hate leaks. So I'm gonna, no baby, come back. I'm gonna take some of my mega tape here and I am going to just wrap this bad unit right on up here. Cause I don't like, no, get back on there, leaks. All right. And all you'll need for this operation is, obviously, a new block heater, an 1.1/8" socket, not necessarily an impact, and then just, you know, find the rest of the coolant that is still in the block. Because no matter how much coolant you drain out of this thing, it has been rotated over, it has been flipped upside down, it's been kicked down a hill, and it's still full of coolant. How? Oh well. Got that much less in it now. Dang it. Oh, this engine is spraying me. Ooh, look at that thing. Yeah. Oh, and it's pitted something awful. Yeah. It was time to replace that. And see, it's got a real bad rusted pin in it. It's pitted something awful. These powder chokes, everybody knows they don't like to start anyway, so this is for the best. Man, just look at this. Just, would you just look at it? Dang it! I'm gonna tilt the engine over so one way or another. Okay. That's all it took. Yeah, we're gonna tilt the engine over that way to get the fluid away from the threads so we can. Oh yeah. Yep. She's heavy. Anyway, there we go. Now we can dry out the threads. We can get the new one in there and call it a day on this little project anyway. We've wiped out the threads. We got plenty of thread sealing on here. We're just gonna stick her in here. Just like so. Just put it in there. And then not gonna use the impact to tighten it. because that is always ill-advised. Sometimes. I'm gonna use a ratchet because I don't want to break it. This thing is just puking at me, spitting at me, angry at me. Show it some kind of love, you know? Oh, they're just like they were. Perfect. New one's in and it's shiny. All right, now, as soon as that fuel block gets in, we will continue on with this sweet little 7-tree project. Hey, quit falling over on me. Woo dang! Y'all know what time it is? It's time to put a fuel block on, so we can put the motor in the truck. Well, put the fuel block on then. Still got to do some partying over there. Once we get done partying over, then the engine can go back in the truck. Yeah? Love it. And here it is. I ain't even opened it. I ain't even looked at it. Don't even know what it's about. But it's from CNC Fabrication. So we're going to find out together here what it's about. All right, get in here. Get in here. Oh. Is that all it takes to get in here? I don't think it is. Oh no, I'm ripping the box. Anything but the box. The box is destroyed. How does this box open? Oh Lord, it opens this way. Oh yes, always cut towards yourself. Not really, don't do that. It's stupid, never cut towards yourself. Anyway, open that box in an atrocious, yes, I got another ink pen. Oh, getting so many of those, and they're coming in different colors. I wonder how many more things I gotta order to get all the colors. All right, let's see here. Let's see, what is this? Finish Line Factory. ADPT. Adapt. That's what that stands for, adapt. -8. It's a -8. That's it. Yep. It's an adapter -8 8AN fitting. Yeah, see, I'm smart. I figured that out all by myself. All right, let's see if I can get it open. Let's see if I can get in here. Just get out there. Oh yeah, look at that. Nice and anodized black. I think the O-ring goes on this side. Pretty sure it goes on this side. I don't know why it goes on this side when it's got a, you know, AN, JIC fitting, whatever you want to call it. You know, a flange steel fitting. Ah! And here it is. Here's the fitting. Look at this little thing right here. It's a push to lock fitting, and I'll still put a clamp on it anyway because I'm paranoid of such things. Oh yeah, it's beautiful. Ooh, it's the light too. It's all aluminum. It's nice. Alrighty. So yeah, this definitely has to go on this side. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just wing it on here. That's right. Boom. Nice. And a plug. We got a plug because there's 2 holes. Because, well, I guess really you could use 1 hole as a return line, but you'd have to put a regulator on it, or your field would be like gone. So you can use this block as a regulated return block, or I saw that they had one of these that was threaded that they had a pressure sensor in, so you could put a fuel pressure sensor in here if you wanted, or if you know you were good enough yourself, you could just drill this plug and thread it yourself to put a sensor in there, or a line teeing off to go to something else. It's hard to say. Oh, look at that. Comes with hardware. Oof, duh. CNC Fabrication. Woo! That is nice. I like that. I like that a lot. And see, this right here is gonna, oh, yeah, get that bolt out of there. Sure, a bolt should something. It doesn't. But see, it's this bolt hole right here, this closest bolt. That same length? Nope, it's shorter. Cool. Yeah, see, it just goes. It's just fuel line here's kind of in the way. Got to move it over. It goes just right there. You stick your bolt there, tighten her down, and bada bing, bada boom, baby. See if I can get this bolt in without getting this sensor off. I think I Yeah, I was premature in putting that sensor back on. It's just biting me. Okay, let's get this sensor off real quick, because I wanna do things. Y'all don't understand. I am itching. Yeah, I mean itching. All right, I need to get something down here on this lower nut. Can I do it with y'all? Nah, we'll get wrench. Y'all know the deal. First try. This is the exhaust back pressure sensor, so no, it's not something I'm deleting. I'm actually, it's a very handy sensor for tuning. Aha! Oh Lord. Looks like it's damn near plugged up. Dang! I might get a little air hose, see if I can do a little. I don't want to blow on the sensor, but I might see if I can blow that line out. Holy but juice! Probably wouldn't even nothing coming up through that thing. Yeah, no, look, we've done squirreled and completely lost track of the fuel system. I don't want to damage the sensor itself. Probably be worth getting a new one, but there we go. That's way more better. This pressure transducer will probably transduce pressure now. All right, now let's just get our bolt, put it through the hole and into the back of our block. And just like that, you're done. And you have spare parts, as every project should. All right, now let's make sure that this thing is level and looks so good. All right, let's get these fuel lines hooked up. And here it is. This is the finished product right here. Well, that's a lie. These top fittings aren't in, but your actual fuel line fittings going out. That is them right there. And these here, it's pretty straightforward. You just that in there, you snug it a little bit, but I mean they're O-ring seal, so you don't even have to go crazy with how tight you get them. It's a little tapered lip here, and they've got O-rings, so these seal right up. Now these two here, you do have to get tight and use some kind of thread sealer on them, but this is the O-ring seal as well. I think we'll just tighten these two up, put that in the truck, and there you go. This deletes that. Oh man. All right, let's get all this in there. And no, I have no AN fitting, no AN wrenches. That's it. Yeah, I have no AN wrenches to prevent the galling or scratching of the anodized coating. That's all those AN wrenches are for anyway. It's just to prevent from knocking off the anodized coating. So I'm just going to use regular wrenches, and I might put a little scratch on the coating, but you know, sacrifices have to be made sometimes. Lord, I can feel it already. The whole internet's already yelling at me. Tight. Oofta. Oofta. Oh, I can feel the anodize just getting scraped off. Oofta. See, it's not that bad. Didn't even use an AN wrench. Y'all can't even be that mad at me. Yeah, you probably still are. But, oh well, I'll just have to live with it, I guess. Alright, let's get this beard heater in. Get this line out of the way again. Oh yeah. Look at that. And then I'll leave it loose till we actually get all the lines hooked up, and then I'll right there on that. We'll drill her home. Oofty. Oofty oofty. These kind of have to go home together because it just kind of sits this little loop line just kind of just sits straight down. So look at that. Look at that. What I'm talking about. I think that's what I'm talking about. Oh yeah. I do indeed enjoy it when a plan comes together. Look at that. Look at that. Right there, right there. Okay, so that's where that block wants to sit. That's where the lines pull it. So, all right, I'll get back with y'all once I have everything hooked up and tightened up and looking fresh. All right, I'm gonna show y'all a little trick. See, I left this angled fitting, this 45. I left it pointing towards the back of the block a little bit, so I didn't have to fight it. And see, like I had like a 1-inch gap there, and you know, there was no closing that up. Now you just take your wrench that fits your fitting and let's see. Oh yeah. Oh. Thing of beauty. Right in there. All right. Now, commence to tightening everything up. Everything's on there. Everything's tight. All these are tight. All the lines are tight. We just got to tighten up this one bolt for the block. And then this one right here, leaving it loose for now, but it's going to come in handy really as a bleeder. Just crack it loose. I'm going to try and get all the air out of these lines now because, you know, I don't have a return at the engine anymore. So from the pump all the way back there at the tank, all the way up to here, and then this entire thing, the only way to bleed it is going to be through the injector. So having this to crack open to get the air out at least to this point will be really, really handy. Don't forget your exhaust back pressure sensor. You need it for the tuning of the engine. I know I'm stunned, but I am struggling. I got it buried under rags. Well, just what do I do with it? Oh man, woo! Ah. All right, that's great. Just break it. All right. I just want to state that if this was a snake, I'd be way past bit. I've been looking for this for like 4 hours now. You've got to be kidding me. It was right there the whole time. Did I say I'd be right back with you in a minute? Because that was a lie. It's been like 3 minutes. Yeah, things devolved quickly. I started putting the wiring harness on here, had it most of the way on here, and then I stopped and I was like, wait. Just wait. 1 darn minute. For some reason, this harness was not charging before. Like, you know, because this is the wire that goes over here to, you know, like a solenoid, I think it is. I think it is like, let's see. I think it's like right here. No, it ran right over to the battery. Yeah, that wire ran right over to the battery. And that right there is, you know, probably, see, look right there, it kind of says it. Fusible link. There's a fusible link that went right over to the battery cable. And the other end of it hooks to the back of the alternator. And then intermediately it has this big hot wire off of it that goes to the air intake heater. And then this wire here splices off of it that runs down and goes into the harness and splits off and goes to all the glow plugs, the plugs of the glowing. And I don't think there's another hot wire off of it. No. So this main battery wire comes over, branches off here, and then comes along and branches off here. where it hooks up to the alternate, it's here, right here. Well, one time when we was, out on the road, working, doing our thing, putting along, it just quit charging. Like, test the alternator was putting out juice. No juice was making it to the batteries. The truck was going dead. We could not figure it out. I was testing this, testing that, and we just couldn't figure it out. And we said, to heck with it, temporary fix, it'll work. So we ran a heavy gauge ground wire straight from the alternator itself, like, bolted, like right here, except for on the alternator. So it was grounded straight to the alternator. And we ran a heavy gauge hot wire from the hot terminal on the back of the alternator, hooked this right to the back of the alternator and ran it straight over here to the battery cable. Ran that straight over. See that red wire was hooked right there to the output of the alternate tray. And it worked. The truck's been running like that for, I don't know, probably a solid 2 years. Maybe, probably somewhere in that general area. So, I mean, that was a solid side of the road fix. Got it going in a bind, and it's worked ever since. And I always swore, I was like, one day when I get the time, I'm gonna dive in that harness and just figure out what went wrong. Why? Because the glow plugs work, and we're pretty sure the grid heater works. I'll test that once we actually get back in the truck and get hooked up. I'll make sure that this has got juice and is cycling. But the glow plugs work because, as typical 7.3s, if it gets below, let's see, about 75 degrees outside, it won't start without them. So the glow plugs we do know work. Like, I got it, they work. So I know I'm getting powered at least here from the battery. So it's somewhere from this splice to here while we weren't getting power from alternator to battery. Because like I said, like, this right here was getting all of our signal reference we were supposed to get when we was plugged in. Whenever we test on the back of the alternator was putting out the juice it was supposed to put out. So it was very confusing as to why we wasn't getting power. So I was like, there had to be a fusible link in here that was blown or something. Something of that nature was the reason why we wasn't getting juice to our batteries. And I just remembered that when I was putting this wiring harness on. So I decided to dive in there and figure it out. Well, I took this entire wiring harness apart. Plus also I deleted 2 of the plugs because I had the plug going to the EBV and the plug going to the water sensor on the bowl. I deleted both of those because they're no longer needed. So I needed to get in here anyway. But I looked and all the fusible links are over here. And then I did all the testing. I did continuity, I did ohms. I tested, like, she carries juice. There is, from point A to point B, there is nothing wrong with this line. I even did a little stab probe, like in random spots on the wire, like you hook here and you hook here, you have continuity. It works. I'll prove it. Whoa. Alright, put this somewhere where hopefully y'all can seize it. And this doesn't matter, this is just showing contact, so it doesn't matter which way you put it. You see that? Continuity. She's ringing, she's working. And you see it was showing ohms, but we'll just put it right up here on the ohms meter just for everybody else. 0.1 ohms. Now where I come from, that ain't much resistance. Maybe it is. But you'd think the alternator's putting out, that juice should flow. I just don't know. I'm gonna put it back in the truck like this. And I've cleaned up all the ends. Like I took the wire brush to them and I brushed them, polished them. I cleaned up that one. I cleaned up this one. Cleaned up all these contacts, so we'll see. And I'm gonna clean up battery contacts. I'm gonna clean up the ground that goes to the block, because the block ground goes right there. It's a little dirty, so I'm gonna clean it up and make sure that the block is grounded to the actual chassis good. And because that block ground that screws in right here, I mean, that goes straight to the battery. So it should be the same thing as my straight cable that I had running. I might still leave my heavy ground cable from the alternator that, or I might mount it somewhere else in here. But the black ground that I put in there, the heavy ground I put in up here, I might still put it on somewhere and have it going up just to make sure we're triple grounded. You know, well, actually it'd be double grounded because we don't have a triple ground. But anyway, I digress. All that long-windedness is pretty much me saying is I don't know why it quit charging that day, because it's still running the same alternator. It's still, the only thing we did was add those 2 wires. We added a ground wire and a hot wire to carry the juice over the batteries. That's all we did. And it resumed charging and daily function. And this wire here, we had completely unhooked it and wrapped it in tape. Like it was, when that wire was hooked up, this wire was not hooked up. It was just down and out of the way, taped up. So this wire was been down here hot the entire time, just wrapped in tape. So there was a hot wire over. I said, I don't know why it wasn't. I just don't understand. Maybe we'll get there. It's hard to say. But that is all for now. The fuel system is wrapped up. The harness is on there. It's ready to go in. Hey, don't forget to fill y'all's oil reservoir if y'all are diving into one this deep. You want this full whenever you do your first start. You don't want to starve your new high pressure oil pump. That would make you very sad. Very sad indeed. So make sure you fill your reservoir. And once it gets full, it will start running out if you don't have said oil filter on. So maybe even after you get it in the truck and get the oil filter on, get the engine full of oil, pull this plug out here, top this back off again. Just make sure you have oil ready and waiting to go into that H-pop, because you do not want to, just ruin your brand new high pressure oil pump. That would be sad. Anyway, like I was saying, we're done. We got our pedestal, our EBV delete pedestal on here. We have our new H-pop. We have all of our fuel lines on. Wiring harness on, the oil pan, rear main seal, injectors, studs. I mean, this thing is just, it's ready. It is new glow plugs even, in fact, are in here. Yeah, there, yeah. But yeah, it's all in here. It's all ready. The engine, it's ready. I mean, it's just never been more ready in its life to go back in the truck. And that will be on the next video. Because this video is over. It's done. Like oh yeah, and the manifolds. Can't forget about the manifolds. Did the manifolds, port alignment, stuff like that. And it's coming with turbo on there. But this video's done. All the stuff we need to do the engine is done. And next time around, we got a few little things to do, a few little housekeeping items to do. I got to run a new fuel line up. I'm going to pull this power steering pump off and touch up some of my debauchery that I have going on over here. Because, well, like I said, this truck has some rust issues. Okay, it's got a little bit of the cancer. And, well, one day the power steering pump did fall off. Because, frame rotting right here. Bad. But that being said, this video is wrapped up. We are done here. On the next one, come back, we're going to touch up the frame. It's been fun. A little aggravating here and there, waiting on shipping, but that's the nature of the beast anymore. But if y'all enjoyed the content, you're welcome to come on back. I try to make weekly uploads, and I'm looking forward to seeing y'all on the next video. But this one's done. Leave a like and a comment down below. And as always, I appreciate y'all. Love having you. And I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye, everyone.